When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future videos and updates that I do post on my community tab frequently. If you want access to any of my early content, check out the Discord. This is the first part of the Eye of the Tiger. This is my first Underworld crossover. So I might pronounce some names wrong, like Cornelius. I probably pronounced that like wrong, but it doesn't really matter. Now let's get right into this story. As we start our story off with Inko Cornelius, the daughter of Alexander Cornelius, the first immortal, and the daughter of Hela. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm not totally sure on that. Anyways, let's continue forward. Much like her brother, Marcus and William, one becoming a vampire, her other becoming a werewolf, the first of their kind. Much like them, she was bitten as well, but instead of being bitten by a bat or by a wolf, Inko was bit by a white tiger when she was just a girl, changing her into something new, something unique. The very first were tiger, powerful, beautiful, and highly dangerous. After her first transformation into a were-tiger, Inko displayed extreme aggression from that point forward. That's why Alexander had to send Inko away. Not even Marcus and William knew where their father sent her. Not out of spite, but to protect her. She's a danger to herself and others. She needs time to master her instinct. And that's exactly what she did. The first few years was difficult for Inko. She was only a small girl at the time, powerful, untrained, primal, but still a child. Inko spent the first couple years in deep meditation in the vast jungle of the huge undiscovered island. Despite her isolation, she wasn't completely alone. Alexander didn't leave his daughter without any assistance. There is a small tribe that looks after Inko, providing her with shelter, food, and understanding how to live on the island. Despite the power she has just below the surface of her body, she is still just a small girl, trying to find where she fits or belongs into this world. The years and centuries went by fast for Inko. When she first arrived, she was just a girl. Now she's a grown woman. Despite her looking like she's only in her 20s, she's far more older than that. She takes after her father and brother and mother. She is immortal. She doesn't need blood like her brother Marcus, nor does she need nor does she let her beastly nature control her, like her other brother, William. Inca would never allow such thing to happen to her. She is not weak-willed like her brother, William. She's focused, strong, and too stubborn to be controlled by anything, especially not her own very nature, like William has suffered. Don't get her wrong, she loves her brother, but she finds him too weak. Not weak in the physical sense, but weak in the mind sense. Weak-minded. But that doesn't mean she doesn't worry about her family, because she's been so isolated for so long. She doesn't know the condition of her family. She knows her mother passed away shortly after she gave birth to her children, Inko included, alongside with her other brothers. Inko doesn't remember much about her mother. She died shortly when she was born. She might be the youngest child of the family, but she clearly inherited her father's intelligent mind and her mother's quick wit. Inka was on top of a cliffside watching the moon in the vast jungle with a deadly focus, like she was dissecting a very dangerous predator. As she heard, with her enchanted hearing, the sounds of the forest, from the predator stalking their prey, from their prey running from their predators, of the sounds of the birds scattering when there was a disturbance by their natural predator of this island, large snakes that can use their large body to climb up high up onto the humongous trees to prey upon the bird population of the island. Even the spiders of this island are quite large, larger than any spider should be, compared to them on the mainland. This island has been completely sealed off from the civilization from the outside. Inko has always found something about this island off. Bigger animals are born here than normal. The trees are definitely not the normal size. Inko is no fool. She knows there's something clearly wrong with this island. A wrongness that goes deep into the island's core. Nor is she foolish enough to seek it out. Inko acknowledges it, that it exists. She respects the boundaries, nor does she seek out the source. She has far more better things to do. She knows she's ready to finally leave this place. She has mastered her inner beast, her tiger. The first time she transformed into her first stage of her tiger form, it was painful shifting into a large tiger. It was very painful. But her second stage of the transformation was far more painful than the first. The second transformation is her were-tiger transformation, giving her a humanoid tiger body. It was painful, but it was necessary to train both of her transformations. Like most things, everything in her life, she did not stop until she mastered it. To come to a point where she could shift between her two different stages in mere seconds. Inko caught a scent in the air, decayed, stillness, blood. Like a metallic smell. as Inko's eyes narrowed, as she used her vision like a sniper scope, and noticed a singular ship approaching from the distance, heading directly towards the island. Inko narrowed her eyes. Inko could easily identify the life forms on the ship to be vampires. They felt like her brother, Marcus, but different, lesser, weaker. Inko started a fire and alerted the tribe using smoke signals of an incoming invasion of vampires, or just the vampires are arriving. So they have enough time to evacuate and go deeper into the island. The island is large enough, so it would make it difficult for anyone to track them down, even for vampires. It would be most difficult for them to locate them. There's always been something about this island, making tracking very difficult, even for her senses. So she had no doubt the vampires will have a hard time tracking anything while they're on this island. Inko has lived on this island long enough, so she has found a ways around, making tracking a whole lot easier for her. She just had to adjust herself to the flow of the island. And the island itself is dangerous. Not just because it's a aggressive, huge wildlife. Like this island has a living force. The jungle itself naturally creates hallucinations. About time anyone realized they're under a hallucination, it would be too late. The predators would already been aware of their presence and ready to strike. Inko has seen many people come to this island, from pirates, sailors, just explorers, all perish either by the predators while they're under the effects of the hallucinations of the jungle that the island seems to display. The entire jungle is pure white. The trees, the vines, even the water has a more white color to it. Of course, Inko doesn't really notice. She hasn't seen many other jungles. She doesn't know pure white trees and vines and other plant life is unnatural, but it's normal for her. Inko burst running into the jungle. As the ship got closer to the shore, she landed on top of one of the large white trees, branches, close enough to have a complete view of the approaching ship, but far enough not to be noticed. The forest itself is masking her presence. She could do that herself, but the jungle itself masking her presence. Well, she could do that herself, but the jungle itself does it for her, so she doesn't need to bother. Interesting. Vampires, how quaint. Brother's been quite busy breeding his spawn. No matter. They're intruders, and intruders invading my territory. They all die the same. Unlike their first death, I'll give them more permanent death. As Inko gave a cruel smirk, then she leaped off of the large tree branch and shifted into her white tiger form. As Inko's 4 tiger paws landed onto the ground without making a noise as her tail begins to sway around her. There's no need for her to go full transformation into her were tiger form. Her normal tiger form should be efficient enough to find out what these vampires are doing, and most likely eliminating them quite easily with this. She's confident in her abilities in this form. She can stalk her prey without being noticed. Like I said, she's very confident in her abilities to hunt. And that's what she did. With her tiger claws, she easily traveled from treetop to treetop, shadowing the vampires without being noticed. They entered the dense jungle. She followed them quietly from the treetops. The trees are quite large, so a majority of the branches could support a full-size tiger. And Inko's a little bit bigger than a normal tiger should be. The trees of this island are humongous in size, much like the wildlife you would see in the prehistoric age. And the wildlife here is a whole lot bigger than they should be. Inko watched the vampires march into the forest or the jungle like they already mastered it, like the island itself was already theirs, like they mastered it, but they have mastered nothing. The first wave of hallucinations came fast and hard. She watched the younger of the vampires panic and separated, going all different directions. But the more seasoned vampires resisted the hallucinations. That's when the local predators made their move. Inko watched everything from the first... Inko watched everything start as the first predators made themselves known were very oversized wolves circling around the older vampires that did not run off in panic. The wolves themselves were clearly man-sized, snarling, identifying the pirates with the vampires, as a new source of prey, a new source of food. But despite their large size of these wolves, she has no doubt these vampires would be able to take care of themselves. So she left the fate to the vampires, to the white wolves. She caught the scent of one of the vampires that panicked, that ran into the vast jungle, blindly. So she decided to follow. Inko White Tiger form moved through the treetops like a shadow specter. She located her prey, unaware of her presence. She leaped downwards, right above. About time the vampire figured out what was happening, it was already too late, as Inko had her sharp and massive jaw chomped down onto the vampire's neck. The vampire didn't have enough time to scream, as Inko pulled flesh, tearing into his flesh with her sharp teeth, bones breaking, as she tossed the severed head of the vampire, as the headless body of the vampire fall down to the ground dead. First one down, as Inko burst into the jungle in a new direction to the nearest vampire that found themselves lost in the forest, or in the jungle. I keep saying the forest, it's a jungle. I wrote down in forest, but I figured a jungle would be a lot more interesting than just a normal forest. Anyways, let's continue. It didn't take her long to locate the next vampire. He was surrounded by dead corpses of giant spiders, breathing heavy, or what amount to a vampire breathing heavy, because they don't really breathe, but that's not really the point. When she was about to pounce, she stopped, briefly. She could smell another scent far off, in the direction of the ship. She was surprised. That was the scent of a werewolf. She closed her eyes and focused. She could sense there was no intelligence, just blind fury and obedience. Interesting. So they managed to tame a werewolf. How quaint. The world has definitely changed since my isolation. I think it's time for me to rejoin the world, to end my isolation. But first, I must deal with the immediate problem. As she stared down upon her next prey, with her claws digging into the bark of the tree, getting ready to pounce, as her tiger tail began to sway more erratically, as her tiger-slitted eyes focus. Then she moved in a blur, swinging her claw the moment she landed on all four paws onto the ground. She swiped her front paw towards the vampire, cutting the vampire's head cleanly off of his body. The swipe was so powerful, it made the leaves, the plants on the ground, wave from a small gust of wind being created. The swing, or the claw swing, was smooth, fast. The vampire didn't even know what was happening. The moment his brain registered what was going on, he was already dead. Inko closed her eyes, used her tiger senses to figure out how many are left. She could smell the blood of the wolves and the two vampires that left alive, injured, but alive. They're heading towards the ship. There are several more vampires and the werewolf on board of the ship as well. And there was only two more vampires lost into the jungle she has to kill. She'll kill the wandering vampires, then go for the older ones that are moving back towards the ship in a slow pace. And deal with whatever vampires left on the ship. And the werewolf as well. With her plan set in motion, she acted. As she continued her hunt. The two older vampires, she knows their location. She knows she probably won't be able to be strong enough to face them in her current form. She may have to shift into her full were-tiger form. A part of her is hoping that does come to fruition, or basically happens. She's basically hoping that would be the outcome. With the element of surprise, the remaining lost vampires were easily to track down and eliminate. She doubled back to remaining two vampires into the jungle. The two older vampires were breathing heavy. They had just finished killing off another wave of white wolves that were trying to stop them from them going back to their ship. The rest of the huge white wolves, instead of pressing the attack, they backed off, sensing a more superior predator approaching. A singular white tiger came out of the shadows of the white trees of the jungle. What the hell? A white tiger? Looks like the white tiger is on steroids. Well, they really know what steroid is. I don't think that's a thing at this current time, but anyways, let's continue. So the blood-sucking parasites have intelligence. How quaint. But I do wonder, of all you blood-sucking parasites chose to come, you would come here. As the strange, huge, talking white tiger begin to circle around the two predators. I take it you're the one who killed our comrades? Ingo gave a vicious cat grin, displaying all her sharp teeth. Indeed. Indeed I was. They were very foolish to enter these jungles so blindly. This jungle has a will of its own. Unfortunately for you, too. You should have never came here. But unfortunately I can't allow you to leave alive. You do understand. It's nothing personal. You just seen too much. Worry not, parasites. I won't kill you right away. That would be too boring. I do enjoy the thrill of a hunt. You have a day. Then I will begin my hunt. I will track you down and kill you like the rest. Hope you enjoy yourself on my island. Enjoy what undead life you have left, parasites. I'll be seeing you real soon. As the mysterious talking white tiger disappeared into the fast, thick jungle, disappearing from their sight, Inko kept a close eye. Well, Inko is a woman of her word. She fully intended to give them a full day before she begins her hunt and tracks them down and eliminate them all. She'll allow them to make their way back to their ship. She's fully confident that they won't run away and won't set sail on their ship. They're either here by accident or they're here for a reason. Their purpose here intrigues her, but not necessary to know. All she needs to know is she needs to remove them from her island. I suppose after I kill them and take care of that werewolf, I could use their ship to leave this island and rejoin the rest of the world, regardless on how she goes about this. She has set her mind on a plan of action. She kept a close eye, making sure they got back to their ship. She never lost track of the vampires. For some reason, I'm going to call them pirates. For some reason, oh no, it's island pirates is good together. But anyways, let's continue. There's not much sun. There's not much left they could do about it. The sun is already beginning to rise, and she highly doubt the vampires could operate in direct sunlight, as a very familiar presence could be felt right next to her. She knew exactly who this is. When she turned around, she sees her father, Alexander, giving her a warm smile. Father? Hello, my beloved daughter. It's been far too long. You've done well for yourself, like I knew you would. What are you doing here, Father? Can a father not seek out his favorite daughter? To my knowledge, I'm your only daughter. But whatever. It's lovely to see you again, Father. You don't peek out of nowhere, especially how you appeared right after these vampires made themselves on this island. Yes, my daughter, they are connected. To some degree, that's why I'm here. Things are heating up on the outside world. The factions continue to clash. With your brother Marcus in his deep slumber, and your other brother William, captured and sealed away, I grew worried about you. I might not directly interfere in your lives, but doesn't mean I don't care. I want my children to learn and make their own mistakes. Make your own choices. Do you know why these vampires are here? That's what I found strange. Yes, this island is unique among the world. Time flows differently here, slower. But I don't know why they would seek this island or how they found it in the first place. I'm guessing they came across this island by pure accident. Alexander placed his hand behind his back, looking towards the distance of the ship of the shore of the island. I take it, daughter, you're going to kill them. Yes, they will die. I've already started. I have already started. What vampires remain, hide in their ship to seek shelter from the sun. That you did, my daughter. That you did. You were watching me, father. Guilty as charged. I always knew you were more wild compared to your brothers. More of a free spirit, but it warms my heart seeing you so strong. Don't get soft on me, old man, but it's nice to see you again. You're not angry because I sent you here. No, I'm not angry. I've always knew why you sent me here. I need you to control, and you provide me with that control, sending me here on this island. This island has been my home for quite a long time. That's why I don't take kindly to a bunch of blood-sucking parasites invading my territory. When they first arrived, I alerted the tribe to go deeper into the island. But I wonder if they're after something that's inside the core of the island. There's nothing in the core of the island that would be useful to them. I should know. Very well, father. Are you staying long? Unfortunately, no. I originally came here to visit you and to pay the tribe a nice little visit. Then I must return. What will you do once the vampires have been eliminated? I'll be taking the ship. Good. This isolation has gone far too long. It's time for you to rejoin the world. Inko watched her father enter the jungle of the island, disappearing from her view. Inko's face turned into a very rare smile. It looks more terrifying on a tiger's face, but it's still a smile. Watching her father disappear, her facial expression was replaced with a vicious smile. As her main focus is pinpointed towards the vampires in their ship. She's a patient woman. She waited until the sun falls. Then she'll strike. Inko shifts back into her normal human form. Inko waited patiently as the sun is finally beginning to fall, as the sky starts to darken, as the moon is becoming visible, until the sun was completely disappeared into the sky, as there's a bright full moon. The moment the vampires in the ship sent scouts out, that's when Inko acted. She shifted into her were-tiger form. It still towers over a full-grown man. She burst forward before the vampires could reach the jungle and intercepted them. Give me a second, guys. And hitting the closest zombie to the jungle into the stomach with her fists, sending the vampire skidding across the sand. Inko spun around and caught an incoming vampire fist. Grabbed him by the face and slammed him into the sand. Inca was out churning around, leaned backwards. As the first scout she attacked came charging in, she slammed her knee into his stomach, lifted up the vampire in midair from the force of the impact of her knee. As Inko appeared right above him, slamming her foot into the vampire's face, sending him down shooting like a rocket into the sand. The moment her claw feet touched the ground of the sand, she engaged the other vampire in hand-to-hand combat. It didn't take long for the other vampire to recover from the brutal attack and engage Inko. Inko's cat-like face, or tiger-like face, formed into a grin. She's clearly enjoying this battle. Inko easily danced around the two vampires with great ease and grace. Inko's claws extended onto her hands. Then she blitzed forward, disappearing from their view, line of sight. Then suddenly she reappeared right behind him in kind of like a flash step. As both of the vampires' heads begin to roll off their necks, as their bodies hit the sand, Inko let out a challenging, loud roar towards the ship. That roar turned into a sound attack that cut through the sand like razor blades. The two vampires on the hull of the ship were grabbing onto their heads as their heads exploded from the vibration of Inko's tiger roar. With Inko's challenge delivered, she waited. She had to wait very long. The challenge wasn't for the vampires. No, the challenge was set upon the werewolf that's hiding inside the hull of the ship. Her challenge was directly aimed towards that wild beast. It didn't take long for the werewolf to come charging out with mindless fury. Nothing but animal instinct, charging forward, knocking away any vampire that got in his way. Then immediately jumped on the edge of the ship and jumped off, and immediately began to run towards Inko on all fours. When the werewolf got close enough, it started to run on two legs. Inko still towered over the werewolf. She caught the werewolf's claw by the wrist and delivered a vicious headbutt to the skull of the werewolf. Then she threw him across the sand by throwing him by the wrist. Before the werewolf could fly off, Inko appeared in striking range by charging forward and slamming her fist into the stomach of the werewolf in mid-flight, sending the werewolf even further. Inko watched the werewolf fly off. Like a rag doll, rolling and skidding across the sand. As the werewolf immediately recovered and leaped forward, engaging Inko once again, as she met him halfway. The way the werewolf was fighting was very predictable. The werewolf is fast, but there's no intelligence, there's no strategy. He's just going by, the werewolf is only going by pure instinct, making him a very predictable opponent. Despite the werewolf's fast and strong movements and strength, it's still no match for Inko. Inko's vicious grin turned into a frown. There's no thrill in fighting a mindless beast with no intelligence. It has been beaten so much that is nothing but a mindless guard dog. What majestic creature this was one time, it's no more. It's nothing but the werewolf's pet now. At least she could do is end its suffering. And that's what exactly she did. She lunged forward, moving faster than she displayed prior, and plunged her claws into the werewolf's chest, going right through piercing his chest, wrapping her claws around his heart and crushing it as she yanked out her claw from the werewolf's chest. The werewolf collapsed to the sand, dead, lifeless, as it slowly returns back to his human form. Dead, but it reverted back. Inko could sense the remaining vampires inside the ship. She didn't hesitate. She massacred everyone inside the ship, room by room, until there's no vampires left. Whatever small wounds she got from the encounter with the werewolf has already healed by now. The small cuts begin to steam, turn into undamaged flesh. Inko reverted back to her human form, covered in blood, as she walked upon the deck of the ship. Oh dear, as she looked at the carnage she made. I might have overdid it a little bit. There's no one left alive to pilot the ship. Maybe I should have kept a couple vampires alive. Oh well. I'll just have to wait for other survivors to appear and wash up upon shore. Onto this island. Hopefully a few of them will be sailors. But for now, I got myself a nice home. It's pretty good shelter. It's actually a pretty good shelter. No reason not to use it. It needs a little bit of cleaning from the interior, from the mess I made. And if there's vampire bodies still around, I'll just let the sun do its work and throw it outside. As that's where we're going to stop it. I don't know when the next one's going to be, because I'm going to have to make 3 parts to this before I release the next part. So, you'll see it eventually. I'll catch you guys in the next video.